Hey guys, what's up? This is Salem, and today I'm going to show you how to get started with Unity. Unity is a game engine. I use it for making physics-based simulations and games. I'm going to be teaching you programming in some videos. I will teach you programming by showing you how to make physics-based simulations. We will use Unity and maybe we'll use Python. It just depends on how things progress. So we will see. But today I'm going to show you how to make your first Unity game. You don't need any background in programming or anything like that. You just need to follow along and try the exercises yourself or try to do it yourself. So let's just dive in. You go to unity3d.com and just say get Unity and choose your whatever you want. Personal is free, and then accept without reading. Who knows what that is? You know, your company shouldn't make more than 100K annually. If I did, that would be cool, but I do not make that much. So download installer, and okay, so I already have it. I won't be really downloading it, but I'm just going to show you how to go through the process. Okay, next, accept, blind acceptance for all these. Okay, so this is the things that you need to choose. You don't really need WebGL support for this. This all depends on what you're trying to do. If you're really trying to build for these platforms like Android or whatever, then you need these. This is the Visual Studio. It's the editor that you're going to write the program in. So you can either use Visual Studio or MonoDevelop, okay? Okay, so the rest you will need the Unity documentation and stuff like that. Okay, so next you choose where you want to put it, and then you just hit next. Okay, and then you follow along. I won't be doing it here, so I will just see you when you're done. So when you're done, just open Unity. I have it here, and I have a bunch of projects. Let's go new project. I want a 3D, and let's just call it dropping things, and create project. Waiting. Okay, so this is what it looks like when it opens. So this is services, whatever that is. We don't really need to look at that now. What you really care about is this inspector, which will show things once you have game objects. So this part, the hierarchy, tells you what objects are in the game or in this scene. And I will tell you what a scene is in a second, but this is where the objects are. We have a camera here. This is the direction light. You can make it more intense, less intense. You can rotate it around here and make it coming from a different direction to simulate the sun coming from a different angle. And this is the camera. You can move it around and just see where it's going to be. And then you can start to add objects into the game so that we can see them. Let's add, like, this is the different things you can add. We will add 3D objects like a cube. Okay, the cube is here now. If you hit W, you will get this one, which helps you move the cube. Okay, you can see it in the camera over there. Now we're moving it closer to the camera, and we can see what happens if I change the intensity of the light, make it less intense, more intense. You see, it's not a fancy simulation of light, but it is still light. Okay, you can rotate it and see how it affects the cube. Okay, so let's start doing some physics. I'm gonna put a ground here, or a plane, and this is where you can scale it. Scale just means how big it's gonna be. If I scale it in the X direction, which is red, it's gonna grow in that direction. If I make it smaller in the Y direction, Y is the height direction, so it doesn't really affect it. It's the green one. If I make it smaller in Z, it gets smaller. If I make it bigger, it gets bigger, okay? So here's our ground. At the moment, everything white and looks too bright for us. Before we add colors, let's just make it less bright. Maybe this will help a little. And now, when I hit play, this is our first game, nothing happens. All you have in the game view is a cube that's floating and shadow and just the ground. So nothing moves. You didn't tell anything how to move. There's no physics involved, in the sense that if this was really a physical object, it would fall to the ground. Also notice that when I hit play, this screen becomes darker, and this shows you that if I change things while I'm playing and then I exit, it goes back to its original value. So whatever you edit over here during gameplay will not be there after you exit. Okay, so let's add some physics. The physics come in here. So this is a component. This component is going to tell us or tell the object how to move. It's called rigid body. Okay, 2D if you're only working in a 2D game. Rigid body is for 3D. Now, so when you add this component, your cube will act as a rigid body, as a rigid cube, just like a real rigid cube would. It can feel forces, it can move around and do all of those things. Okay, so let's do that. And see, it even has gravity. So we have gravity. So all of a sudden, without too much work, we have something that, you know, can fall to the ground at least. Okay, and let's say don't use gravity. See, nothing happens because there's no gravity. Let's rotate it a bit like that, you know, just to see how it falls to the ground. And now say, let's go back to the rigid body and use gravity. See, it just goes to the ground. So it just falls like a normal cube would. We can even make it more massive and see how that affects. Let's pause this for a second and rotate it like that. And then use gravity. Okay. So the fun part that you will have to do, this is your first challenge, your first game, is arrange a bunch of cubes. Okay, let's exit. Let's arrange a bunch of cubes like this. To duplicate, to add another cube, you can go create 3D object cube, or, oh, this one was created inside the other cube. That means it moves around with it. But we're not gonna need that now. We'll talk about that later. So now you have two cubes, one here, one here. And this one which we created doesn't have the rigid body yet. So let's add it. Okay. So there we have it. But if you, instead of keep adding a cube and then adding the rigid body, you can just take this and duplicate it with Control D. If you hit Control D, then you can duplicate the cubes. So we have now 4 cubes. Let's move them around. So your challenge is to make some kind of pyramid and then drop the cubes on top of this pyramid and see how they fall. Okay, so just like that. See if you can make a mess, basically. You can make, let me show you what I mean. Show you an example. Oh, it's playing. Okay, Control D to duplicate. You know, if you want to make it into a mess, you better make things fall together like at the corners of each other, not exactly on each other. So let's see. Okay, so try to play with that. Make some kind of pyramid and then have one cube fall on it and then see how the rest of them fall. Okay, so that's your first physics challenge. All right, the next thing I want to show you is how to give this, how to control the motion of the cube. And to do that, we're just gonna have to make our very own first script. You're gonna have to program, but don't worry about following along. This part is easy. But now you're gonna add a new script. Okay, a new behavior that you will define. These other behaviors have been defined for you, but now we will define a new behavior, and let's call it moving. Okay, it's a new script. Okay, create and add, and there it is. And you can see here, whatever is saved in the project is gonna be shown here. All the scripts, all the files associated. This basically is the actual folder that the project is in. So you can show an explorer, and it's just here. So that's where our script was created. Okay, so you see that here. Let's go back to where we created it. Where is our script? Okay, there's our script. Let's open it, double click, and it's opening in Visual Studio. Takes a while. You don't have to follow with this part, so I'm just going to show you the very own first script. But if you would like a challenge, then pause this video and do a Google search on how to make an object how to change an object's velocity in Unity. Okay, if that's too complicated for you at this stage, let me just show you how you would do it. First, we want the script, or first we want the script to get a hold of this rigid body component. This component is the thing that controls the motion, as we said. So because this controls the motion, this also tells you how to apply or change the velocity. It contains a definition of speed. So all you have to do is get component rigid body. So this is going to find the rigid body component of the game object that this script is attached to. So this script is here. You say get component rigid body, it's going to find this, and then when it finds it, it has a reference to it, and then you can say dot velocity, and then you want to say what the velocity is. Now velocity is a vector. You need to give it a direction and a magnitude, how fast it's going. So we're going to move this, let's say here. Okay, as you can see, it needs to move in the positive x direction. X is red. So it has to move here and hit everything. Okay, so we're gonna give it a velocity, let's say maybe 10. That's the speed. And then new vector 3. This tells you it's a 3-dimensional vector. Don't worry if you don't know what these things are. This is the only line that we will write. So 1, 0, 0. So this is going to be 1 in the x direction and nothing in the y direction. No, it's not moving up or down, and it's not moving sideways in the z direction. It's only moving in the x direction. And then you always have to do this semicolon in order to end the line, and then save the script, or Ctrl+Shift+B to build it. If you want to build it, you can check that it's working. Okay, and then we can just hit play. And you see it's moving and it just hit everything. Let's see that again. Let's put it farther. Okay. It's moving too fast for the game to start. Let's make the speed slower for now. Okay, you change it and then you hit save and then play. Oh, so what you're seeing happen here is that this box is hitting the ground before it really reaches those other objects. So we're going to disable gravity for now and then see what happens. Let's see, we disabled it when the game was playing, so that didn't work. Let's disable it now again and then hit play. You see it's moving kind of slowly, and yeah, pretty sad, didn't hit anything, but you know, you see how physics is being simulated. So this is your second challenge. Make some kind of structure and make a fast moving thing that hits it and destroys the structure. Like watch some cool objects being destroyed if you're into that kind of stuff. Okay, let me see, let's do a little bit of that. Ctrl D to duplicate, Ctrl D, Ctrl D. Okay, I'm hitting Alt. This gives me this eye, and then if I move, I can rotate when I hit Alt. If I hit the middle mouse button, I can move like that, and Alt moves me like that. Okay, let's make the speed even bigger. Let's make it 10. Save. Play around. This is really cool. You've made your first physics game, and in the next video you will do even cooler things. So thank you for watching, and I'm gonna see you next time.